To order.
I call the Parish Council joint meeting to order.
We welcome you to a special joint meeting of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to announce the following. This hearing is open to the public. To address the councils on any item on this agenda, please fill out the speaker form and submit it to the clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given the opportunity to speak. Staff assistance is available if needed. Items for submission to the council should be handed to the council clerk, Ms. Veronica Williams, seated to my left. When addressing the councils, state your name and title for the official record. The 5-minute rule will be in effect. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. The front row to my left is for media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. Meeting procedures are by resolutions and not by Robert Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on the LCG websites. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards or commissions. If interested, call 337-291-8800. That's 291-8800. I would like to open this meeting by calling up Ms. Marissa Fagan to sing the national anthem. Ms. Fagan is a new resident to the Lafayette, and Mayor President Guillory has requested that she open the meeting with the national anthem.
Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Thank you.
Play ball.
Due to election day requirements, the council meetings for November and December will be on the first and the third Wednesdays of each month instead of typical the first and the third Tuesdays. I do not have any announcement. Mr. Nakane, do you have any announcements?
No, sir.
Okay. Any council member would like to make an announcement? I see there's no announcement. Mr. Mayor President?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have a few things to report. First, we'd like to turn it over to our Chief Administrative Officer, who also is the Acting Director of Parks and Recreation, to address a very serious situation over the weekend, over the last 7 days, and some things that we're proactively taking on the administrative side.
Yes, I do want to discuss and talk about the incident that occurred at Moore Park last Wednesday evening, late in the hours and early morning on Thursday morning. We had a very serious situation, a large unauthorized gathering deep into the heart of a very large park. It's a 130-acre park. And unfortunately, tragedy struck. 4 people were shot. 2 people lost their lives. I want to first start and acknowledge the loss of life and for the families and the friends who remain behind and mourn them. I want to acknowledge the people that were injured, both physically and those who are scarred from being a part of such a scary situation. I know that this has caused some concern amongst our community. It certainly has caused concern, amongst the administration. And I want you to know that as someone who is in this role, serving as the lead of the department, I take it very seriously when something happens at one of our parks. And I feel a strong responsibility that we, move forward and acknowledge what happened, but also we make sure that we don't place blame, but we find a path to make everybody feel safe going forward. So what I do want to say is that after careful and thoughtful review of the incidents of that particular evening, the facts remain that it's hard to see a situation where this particular incident could have been avoided. The attendees for the party crossed through, removed a lock from a gate, went deep into the heart of a park. The attendees were seeking to be out of the eyesight of the law enforcement officers. It's part of a new phenomenon, I think, that we're seeing as a result of COVID-19, where young people are looking for places to gather and congregate since, their normal spots are, either restricted or closed altogether. And so it is something that we are very aware of, and we're not looking to place blame, but to move forward. We have identified a number of immediate measures that we're working to ensure that these types of tragedies are mitigated in the future. And first and foremost, I want to give props to our police chief, Scott Morgan. We do have a special park detail that will be aggressively monitoring those parks, and not just the physical parks also, but monitoring the social media where these pop-up events tend to make themselves known. And we're working to do more with surveillance, so that in the event that unauthorized events are going on at the park, if an incident occurs, we'll have the opportunity to give witnesses the place where they can give us more details when a crime occurs. Lighting is something that we're looking into. While these were areas where there is lighting because it was a closed park, the lights weren't on, but we think that perhaps lighting could deter future events of this type. And so I just want to acknowledge that, it's not gone unnoticed. We've already taken action. We'll continue to take action. And it is my hope that we will work with you all as our elected leaders to ensure that we are both enforcing the law, making our parks a place safe for refuge for individuals and citizens who want to use them for healthy recreation and appropriate purposes.
I have a question. Is this the only park that you guys happen to notice that they're having some type of activity at hours like that, 3 o'clock in the morning?
Of this large of a gathering, of an unauthorized gathering, this is the one that we are aware of. There are parks, certainly where smaller groups would, congregate and collect, but I think partly because of the size, partly because of the accessibility and the ability to kind of get into the heart of a park, not just on foot but by vehicle, as those gates, the locks were removed and the gates were open. It created a situation where, they could go, in large groups and not be seen.
So you're saying there is an investigation that's going on right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
good,
sir.
Good. Because, you hear rumors, and that's what we don't want to, we want to go on facts. So I'm glad to know that there are investigation. And I just want to make sure that I want everyone to know that's looking and listening to what's going on, because people have been blamed because of there's no more park patrol. But I do believe that even though we did have park patrol, for instance, that they were let go, they would not have been gone in that area at that time of night anyway. So am I correct in saying that?
Yes, sir, that's correct, because it was a closed, gated area. It would not have been patrolled. And honestly, in those wee hours of the night, early morning, the park police, with the exception of authorized events, would not have generally been out on patrol.
Because I just want to make sure it's perfectly clear, because I don't believe there's anyone that patrol unless someone is being called, that they are seeing or hearing some illegal activity or some type of activity that's going on, and they'll call and say there's a lot of noise. Can someone come out? Do you know if 911 was called before the incident happened, or 911 was not called until there was an incident?
It's my understanding that 911 wasn't called until the incident happened, and we could call up Chief Morgan to give those specific details.
Yeah, I would like to know that. Because there are people that live around there, and if they would have heard some type of music, loud noise or something, I think they live close enough that they could have heard something.
Good evening. First, I'd like to publicly send my condolences to the family and my sympathy to the other two victims. Interim Chief Scott Morgan. So we did get an initial call prior to the second call where officers did go out. During that initial response, they would have called the supervisor and tried to determine what type of action would need to be taken. And at some point, there was a supervisor out there just the other side of the park before the determination was made and the incident actually happened.
So repeat that again, someone was walking in. Repeat that again, you said y'all did get a
So
call.
we did get an initial call. There was actually two calls. The first call we got was a crowd gathered over there. The officers did respond to that particular location. They reported it to the supervisor, and once the supervisor gets the information, then they go through the process of trying to determine what action needs to be taken at that point.
Okay,
into the incident.
so the police did arrive at the scene before this incident happened,
Prior to, yeah,
and they did notify that there were a large crowd.
there was a crowd there.
And-
I don't know the size. I can't tell you if there was DJs. I don't know the particulars of it.
Okay.
I know they responded there, and then the next step would have been to call the supervisors, and the supervisors would make a determination on what action to take from that point.
Okay, so that's the what you guys call investigation, that should all come out.
Yes,
Yeah.
during the initial investigation.
Yes, sure.
We'll be surrounded by that, but altogether, we look at the entire incident, including both calls.
Okay, all right, thank you, that's all the questions I have now. Thank you.
Chief. I got the floor. Okay, so I too would like to give condolences to the family of the victims as well. I guess, Chief, what I want to discuss is, when you and I talked about it, we talked about we would lose some quality of policing the parks by canceling the park police. You remember this?
Yeah, by not having the police, there's an element that's
Yes,
taken
yeah.
away, and then we would have to fill that void, yes.
Okay. And by no means am I pointing fingers right now. I'm just trying to get to a point here, okay? So the initial policeman that went out there, I would imagine it would be safe to say technically no laws were being broken, so therefore he did not disperse the crowd or anything. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, if I could clarify, there would probably be some type of learning curve since we're taking
Yeah,
over.
well, that's what I'm
that These
saying.
officers have to go
You see
through
where
a
I'm going with
process and
this?
determine, hey, is it now our responsibility to that?
Yeah, so whereas, that's what we was talking about earlier, whereas even if moving forward, we're talking about having a special police, park police, what did you call them, department?
Detail.
Detail, okay. Special park detail now within the police department. Something that we need to pay attention to is police applies laws, whereas park police does procedures and policies, whereas a park police can come there and say, hey, even though you're not breaking laws, I think it'll get out of hand, we need to get out of here. I can remember Oscar breaking up park functions in Hyman Park at 6 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. He said, it's getting out of hand, we're breaking it up. Nobody called in a complaint or anything of such. So in creating these park details, that's something that we need to address as far as when do we still step in, even though no one broke laws that night, because you can be in the park after 10, No laws were being broken. They could have still broken it up, but they were being lawful people, lawful officers, should I say. You know, so that's something that we're going to have to be addressing when we create these details. Maybe call Chief Benoit in and ask him some of the criterias of what's going on and things of such. But this brings me to a whole nother subject, guys, you know, that we need to address. And this is me. And I'm saying this for everybody out there that's listening right now. We have 4 or maybe 5 juveniles right now in the juvenile detention home for murder. Our issue, and not one of those young men were in that park that night, our issue goes beyond just there. We as a community, we have failed our young men in our community. Yeah, we might have needed park police. Yeah, we might have needed a special detail that night. But those 4 young men weren't in that park that night when they committed that murder. I'm challenging people in our community right now. We, as a community, remember those saying it takes a village to raise one? I'm reaching out to the village right now. We're not preparing our young men for the future. We're not showing them how to love, how to be loved, how to respect. We don't say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. That's our fault because we allow them to talk to us that way, okay? I know I'm going off on my soapbox right now, but this is important to me because we have lost too many men, young men just graduated out of high school, never even enjoyed life yet. Okay? And we sitting up here arguing about, oh, we should have did this, we should have did that. But what should you have done? What you could have done in the community to help that child out, to keep that gun out of that young man's hand. We, us, our community, we have to do a better job of policing and helping our children. We need to show them how to love each other, how to respect each other, guys. That's me. That's it.
And if I may, I totally agree with you. That's a missing element in society that we have. And we need to discourage, or we would ask that families discourage, especially these younger, less mature adults, not to attend these type of gatherings. We're starting to see, this is the 3rd incident we've seen of large gatherings. This time it happened to be at the park. The other 2 times it wasn't at the park, and they're similar incidents. They're very similar incidents. And it's one of those trends, we've seen them through the 90s, the 2000s, and we're starting to see them again. And some of the issues may be because they really don't have any place to go, so they are finding those gathering holes. And they tend to get pretty good at trying to avoid us, so we have to kind of follow them around. And lastly, the other thing I would like to mention to you is we now have a departmental agreement with the Parks and Recreation through the CAO that we can act as an agent for the park for those particular incidents where we see these gatherings and they're unsafe. We have that authorization to break up those parks.
Ms. Hebert?
Thank you, Chairman. I don't believe you answered this question already, and I apologize, fellow council members, for running late. Do we have hours of operations for our parks? At any point, do they close to the public?
In essence, they don't necessarily close. They're not off a fenced-in park, so you can traverse the park and you can go in there and set up. The parking lots, we generally would have the ability to close off those parking lots, keep traffic out, and that usually keeps those type of gatherings out. But general public that may want to go walk their dog through there,
Okay.
I don't know of anything that would prohibit them from doing that.
Okay, because I could have swore we had hours, and Sidra, I'm looking at you as interim director of the parks, or head of the parks right now. I sent you an email about this, and I know you've been busy, so you haven't had a chance to respond. So the parks don't have an hour of operations? I thought we had hours of operations where people can be in our parks.
If I'm not mistaken, we have had this conversation
Yeah, we
before,
have.
but it was specific to the downtown parks? No? Okay.
thinking of a different conversation. We may have.
Okay.
But, so I think that's something we need to discuss is, because like my mom and dad taught me, nothing good happens after midnight. But I still go out after midnight, but nothing good happens after midnight. And especially underage people do not need to be out in our parks, whether it's out in the park or it's in the parking lot, whatever. Nothing, so that's maybe something that we need to discuss. So Cedra, if you don't mind, I'd like to get with you on that, so we can discuss at least city parks. I know the parish is working on theirs, or we can work in partnership on that. So as of right now, we have no hours of operation to where people can come and be in our parks.
Previously, we did have a law that said the park was closed at 10. I can't tell you exactly if that had some constitutional issues or something like that.
No.
Normally, when you have an open air type place, if the park is closed off, it has a barrier, then people would know that you can't go in there, the signage is. That type of thing, right now, we don't have that fixed. Now, if we wanted to come up with some type of way to do that, then I think we'd be able to enforce the park hours.
Perfect, that's all I had. Thank you.
Mr. Nakane. Mr. Rubin.
Hey, just to answer the question about the parks, I know coming up, it used to be 10 o'clock, the parks were closed at 10 o'clock. You couldn't go in there after 10. Now, please don't quote me on this, but I'm going to say it was during, Ms. V might be able to help me out with this. Wasn't it during the Joy Durrell era maybe, when constituents were complaining, saying that the parks are public and we pay taxes? If I get off work at 10 o'clock and I want to go look at the stars in the park, you can't stop me. And I think that's when they lifted the 10 o'clock curfew. Am I correct?
We can look into it.
Yeah, I think it was changed after a while, you know. And you were asking about the gatherings. I do know I have a teenage daughter. And that's something that was building up, because one night she came to me talking about they were in the parks and the police came there and, you know, and kind of got rough with them, you know, as far as park police, hey, y'all need to go home. Police, hey, y'all get out of the park, you know. Once again, going back to the two different ones, okay? So this is something that's been building up. So we need to be on top of things like this, so that way we don't have this again. You know what I'm saying? Because,
All right, so Councilman, and thank you for that. So just to put some things in perspective, we had 35 parks, we're down to 32 parks. So a one-size-fits-all would not approach, but that approach wouldn't necessarily work. But I believe I hear the intent of the councils, the administration shares that intent. I believe the public would share that intent, that we need to be as proactive as we can in this regard. So one area that we're already going to do is start closing the parking lot areas to make sure that we're addressing the immediate issue at hand in regards to hours of operation. I welcome any discussion from any council member from the public, and you know we'll tie that down. I don't think we're going to get that answer today because, like one of the council members said, or the chief may have said, you know, taking a jog at 10 o'clock at night is different than holding a party for 500 people, overcrowding a parking lot. So we'll get that balance and we'll come up with a good common sense approach to it and make sure we follow it. So thank you.
Okay, let's move along. But before we move along, we just need to, let's take a few seconds for members of what happened in the park. Okay, let's move along. Resolutions.
Mr. Chair, I do have two other items.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
was going to move along.
Two other items, that's okay, Mr. Chair. I was asked to also provide an update to the councils informally, but I do believe it'll be helpful for the public to hear as well in regards to debris pickup, trees, mosquito spray, and LUS. So I'll do that as briefly as I possibly can. I want to say thank you to Chad Naveau, to Warren Abity, and Brian Smith, our three amigos over there, LUS Fiber, and all the departments of Lafayette Consolidated Government that worked extremely hard in the response to Hurricane Delta. Public Works coordinated with our third-party contractor, DRC, and debris pickup began early Sunday morning, very early Sunday morning, October 11th. The focus was and still is on vegetative debris. Mr. Naveau worked with the DRC CEO to increase trucks, and at one point, we had 32 trucks and crews on the road in the city and the unincorporated area. That's a lot. With a total of 59,272 cubic yards picked up in the city and city parish wide over a 9-day period. That's averaging 6,580 cubic yards per day. To compare that in Hurricane Laura, with Hurricane Laura, pickup was 31,222 cubic yards, and that was in 35 days. So you can see a huge difference in effort and productivity. So we're very appreciative for that. We currently have 3 transfer sites being utilized. All trucks and crews are currently picking up in 12 different zones, with 2 trucks hauling mulch to the landfill. In regards to trees falling down, just on the roadways alone, there were over 400 trees on the roadways in the city and the unincorporated area. These trees that were on the roadways were removed within just a few days. So very, very thankful to our Public Works, Drainage, and Traffic Roads and Bridge departments. Mosquito spray. Our third-party contractor has increased spraying by 3 times, but the public can also call for service calls, call 311. You can also be expecting to see help from the United States Air Force. We got word from our congressman's office today. We've been working with our Louisiana delegation in Washington to coordinate this. The Air Force will be conducting a low-altitude spraying for roughly a 6-day period. Lafayette Parish can anticipate 2 or 3 days worth of those sprayings, or 1 to 3 days. Applications will be conducted starting around dusk when mosquitoes are most active and after bees have returned to their hives for the night. So the bees, I am assured, will be safe. In regards to LUS, our interim director is here. We had over 50,000 LUS ratepayers that were out power. Of these 50,000, 100% were restored within 4 days, with a majority of these restorations coming in the first 3 days. That's remarkable. I mean, that's a great job. Great job to Interim Director Lowell Duyall for not only with our LUS hardworking first responders, but also the contractors that we had in the multiple states to have the foresight to get these guys to Lafayette Parish before the storm hit, and that's why we were able to hit the ground so quickly. We also worked with Slimco and Energy to help restore power in the parish. We felt it was important to be a good team player. We may need them in the future, so we do appreciate it, and that's the update I have for the councils, and that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Cook?
Thank you, Chairman. Mayor, I do have one question about the contract length. The contract for the Laura debris pickup, that was basically 35 days, is that what I'm understanding? And it was, had we picked up everything before the next hurricane came, or we?
No, and we were very dissatisfied with that performance. And I didn't want to end on a negative note. I wanted to end on a positive note because I was very that number 32 was a hard-fought number to get here. So if you'd have talked to me before Hurricane Delta, maybe a day before, and I think we may have spoken about it. I think every council member spoke to me about it. We weren't terribly happy. But I will give credit where credit's due. DRC did step up when we need them. I do know that they're a national firm. They were helping our friends to the west. I can understand that. They were hit with Hurricane Laura harder than we were. But when Delta came through, to their credit, they did increase the truckloads tremendously. And you saw the comparison just between the Laura debris pickup to the Delta debris pickup. So
I guess my question would be then for the Delta pickup, where are we in that contract right now in terms of, are we halfway done? Are we a quarter of the way done?
With the response or the contract?
With the pickup.
Okay, because contract's coming up. Chad, are you still, we'll call the director to give you more detail. I can tell you that the numbers that I provide were pleasing to me so far, but we are still in that process. But if Mr. Naveau can elaborate, that would help us.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, Chad Naveau, Public Works Director. So, yes, we have a lot of trucks on the road. There's so much activity out there. It's a little hard to give you an actual percentage. I think we're at least 25%.
Okay.
We're still expecting to go a first pass. We always do that. It's pretty much a standard understanding that you're only going to get about 60% of the debris the first 30 days. It's just not everybody puts it out.
Right.
So, again, we hit the ground hard. We know we're going to pick up whatever's out there on the first pass and evaluate from there in terms of how much effort we're going to put into the second pass as far as trucks and equipment and things like that. So it's safe to tell you that it's probably a 30-day routine, even with the 32 trucks on the road, because there's just so much more debris to pick up. But honestly, I'm going to track them daily and see how much progress we have, and, you know, maybe it'll end sooner than that. I really hope it does.
So this is the same company that we had for Laura? They're
It
just,
is.
now they're apparently doing a better, hopefully they're doing a better job. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they're doing a better job because we have more equipment on the road, doing more
okay.
work.
And it's a 30-day contract? Is that, or is it just till pickup? That's what I'm trying to understand. What, like, when do we know that we signed a contract with them for Laura, and it's still going on as far as picking up now? So when does it end? How do we know when they picked everything up, I guess is my question.
Yeah, well, we're mapping all the locations that they've cleaned.
Okay.
So we have the whole parish on a map, and we're just scratching off the streets.
Chad,
one
let me
by one.
elaborate. That map he's talking about, and I invite you guys to look through it between Warren and Chad and Brian. Correct me if I'm wrong, even before this storm, we were still using paper. We were still using, we had electronic use, but the map that you're referring to is real time, where you put in a
It's the zone map,
tracker
yeah.
or whatnot. Yeah, you put in a little icon. I'm probably butchering every term on there, but I know what I'm seeing in my mind. And it's real time. So when you address that service call, it's removed. But not only can Chad see it, other departments can see it too. Our communications team is going to have access to it, so that Jamie and them and his crew can alert the public and keep everybody posted. So I'm happy with the innovation that we're using. It's comforting.
It's a good map. I mean, where we plug in the address, is that what the one you're talking about?
But
And
it's
if we have a
even more than
constituent
that.
that calls, we can plug it in, tell them what zone they're in? Yes. No,
But even more than that, I want you to elaborate more than I am, but not only debris, but service calls and.
Yeah, that's the storm mode.
Yes.
Yeah, the tracker, yeah, that's Warren's creation, but, so we're also tracking service requests on a very individual basis, and it's been an expedited effort to be able to respond. And so we're tracking them differently. We're tracking them digitally on the map, having that real-time communication with our guys in the field, and also our dispatchers who are taking those calls. So it's been real successful. In fact, it probably played a major role in us being able to get 400 trees off the road in the 2 days that we worked right after the storm.
No, look, I'm not criticizing at all. I know there was a huge tree next to my neighborhood that wiped out Lafayette General, wiped out everything, and y'all had that out by the next afternoon. So, no, y'all are doing a great job. I was just curious as to the contract and in terms of what, how to monitor it. So I appreciate your input on that.
Problem. Is it?
Wait up a second, please. Mr. Andy.
Mr. Naveau, I know it's an arduous task getting out there and picking up all this debris. What effect does it have, and I'm appealing to the residents of the parish, when they're mixing the fence material in with the trees, the metal from the roof in with the trees? How does that affect our pickup? What do we do at that point? I mean, they just can't go in there and pick up all that debris and put it in a truck. It's got to be separated, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is it's going to slow down pickup at your particular residence.
It's going to hurt yourself to do that. So please, if you're doing that at your home, separate the material, put it somewhere so where people can just effectively go in there and get the tree debris out of the way, then they'll come back later and get the construction debris. Totally different worlds, and they cannot be picked up together. Please note that and pass that to your friends, your neighbors. If you see somebody that you know doing that, let them know. They're hurting the process. They're hurting everybody by doing this. So that's important to stress, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good.
Mr. Mayor President, you finished?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The item Certificate of Achievement for Excellence, I would ask with your permission that we'll defer to the next meeting to present.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you. And that's all I have to the chair and to the councils. I appreciate you and honored to serve with you.
Okay. Okay, let's move along to resolutions. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 5-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read item number 5.
Joint Resolution 29, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 148 Northern Avenue to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sales anticipated cost.
Okay, I need a motion and a second from the city council. Moved by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Nanette Cook.
Need a motion and a second by the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Carlson and a second by Councilman Table.
Okay, any council discussion on this resolution? Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Need a vote from each council on this resolution.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Resolution 30, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 115 Nottingham Circle to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sales anticipated cost.
Need a motion and a second from the city council. Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Nanette Cook.
Need a motion and a second from the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Gilbo, second by Councilman Carlson.
Any council discussion on this resolution? See, there's none. Ms. Williams, public comments?
No, sir.
Vote for each council, from each council on this resolution.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5, Parish 1. Motion by the City Council is approved. Motion by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Resolution 31, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 323 Arthur Street to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sales anticipated costs.
Motion and second from city council. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Andy Nakane.
Need a motion and a second from the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman A.B., second by Councilman Table.
Any council discussion on resolution? I see none. Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Vote from each council on the resolution.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2.
Yes.
Motion by the City Council to adopt is approved. Motion by the Parish Council to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 32, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 1136 Madeline Avenue to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sales anticipated costs.
Motion and a second from the city council. Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Nanette Cook.
Need a motion from the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Table, second by Councilman Gilbo.
Any council discussion on resolution? I see there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments? Call from a vote from each council on this resolution.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5, Parish 1, Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Resolution 33, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 123 Rue Felicite to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sales anticipated cost.
Motion and second from the city council. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Nakane. Andy Nakane.
All right, need a motion and a second from the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Carlson, second by Councilman Gilbo.
Okay, any council discussion on this resolution? See none, any public comments? No, sir. Okay, call for vote on, from each council on this resolution.
City 1,
Yes?
City 2?
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4.
Yes.
Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Resolution 34, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 127 Rue Felicity to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sale's anticipated cost.
Motion is second. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Mr. Andy Nakane.
Need a motion and second by the council, parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Carlson, second by Councilman A.B. Rubin.
Any council discussion on resolution? See, there's none. Any public, any public comments, Ms. Williams?
No, sir.
Vote from each council on this resolution.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Resolution 35, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 523 South Washington Street to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sale's anticipated cost.
Motion is second from the city. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Ms. Liz Abear.
Okay, need a motion and a second from the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Gilroy.
Council discussion on resolution.
Carlson, I mean, sorry.
Ms. Williams, any public comments? Call for the vote from each council on this resolution.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1.
Yes.
Motion by the City Council to adopt is approved. Motion by the Parish Council to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 36, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council certifying that Lafayette Parish has complied with the requirements of the State of Louisiana Off-System Bridge Replacement Program.
Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane. Second by Ms. Liz Abear.
Need a motion and a second from the parish council. Motion by Councilman Carlson, second by Councilman A.B. Rubin.
Any council discussion on resolution? None. Okay, Ms. Williams, public comments?
No, sir.
Vote from each council on this resolution.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2.
Yes.
Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Resolution 37, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending Resolution Number JR 21, 2020, which establishes the rules and order of business for the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council.
The motion and second from City Council. Motion by Ms. Nanette Cook, second by Ms. Liz Abear.
Need a motion and a second from the parish council. Motion by Councilman Carlson, second by Councilman Tabor.
Any council discussion on this resolution? None. Public comments, Ms.
The first of two speakers, Will Teely, and he will be followed by Jared Eubanks.
Hello, my name is Will Teely. I live in City District 2 and Parish District 5. Councilman Andy Nakane and A.B. Rubin represent me, so thank you to them and thank you to everyone on both councils. I would like to encourage you to vote against this resolution because it restricts citizen input at council meetings. There is no sugarcoating it. Because of this weird semi-consolidated form of government that we use, I feel the average person in Lafayette doesn't understand how local government works. They struggle to understand where their tax dollars are going, what's being done with them, and who they need to speak to when they want to voice concerns. This resolution only further limits their ability to interact with their local government. First, by rolling back the parish council's meeting start time by 30 minutes from 5 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. rather, that means the majority of people can't possibly make it to City Hall to turn in their blue cards in time to speak on an agenda item, not unless they use their PTO or ask a coworker to cover their shift. This is unacceptable. Parish Council, I'm looking at you. Do you believe your state of affairs is so perfect that citizen input is no longer needed at council meetings? Second, capping the meeting to 1.5 hours on the parish side and 4 hours on the city side with only one possible 30-minute extension, coupled with the fact that the public comment section of the meeting is being pushed back to the end of the meeting, means that people can literally get cut off and not allowed to speak for any amount of minutes. Think of this. Let's say there's a topic being discussed at a council meeting, and one group of people are for and one group of people are against. It is now literally a game of numbers to get as many of your people to the meeting and signed in to speak with the hopes of cutting off the other side from being able to speak at all. Third, I speak a lot at council meetings, and while not all of my speeches hit the 5-minute cap, many of them do, especially at budget time. Being reduced to 3 minutes to speak makes it extremely difficult, if not impossible, to articulate a coherent argument backed with statistics, quotes, and data. Instead, with just 3 minutes to speak, citizen input will largely be reduced to emotional pandering and insults. Trying to garner as much impact out of their speech with a 40% reduction in total speaking time. Our meeting will literally just become the KATC comments. For example, with 5 minutes, I can articulate a meaningful argument that a sidewalk ordinance would be a terrible idea because it violates people's free speech, it encourages bias from law enforcement that has to try to enforce it, it damages our economy by intimidating people not to walk to or occupy spaces near businesses, and it unfairly criminalizes homelessness. But with only 3 minutes, I have much less time to make these coherent points, but I still need to make an impact with my speech. Under the gun of the timer, I might simply just call the mayor and council derogatory names before I need to sit back down. Fourth, not one single councilman, councilwoman, or the mayor president ran on a platform of limiting citizen input at council meetings. Literally, none of you. There was not a campaign ad or a campaign flyer or a discussion on a debate stage that said too many people are attending council meetings and giving their feedback. We need to stop that. So why do this? Do you just not care? I mean, honestly, with the Park and Rec emergency ordinance not even getting a second from the parish council, or the sidewalk ordinance being deferred by the city council twice with no citizen input, I'm really getting the impression that these councils aren't interested in what the public has to say. Which makes me wonder, why become public servants? Why does this council care more about getting back home at 8 p.m. on a council night rather than having a robust discussion about Lafayette and its future? And fifth, I'm already past the 3-minute marker in this speech. I am literally nearly at 5 minutes. I am literally unable to articulate in just 3 minutes why 3 minutes isn't enough time to provide these councils with valuable feedback on the topics you need to vote on. Please vote against this resolution. Keep things the way they are. I'm not saying that some meeting reforms don't need to happen, but this is certainly not the way to do it. Thank you.
Final speaker, Jarrett Eubanks.
Good evening. My name is Jared Eubanks. I'm in Parish District 5, Mr. Lazard's district, and Mr. Andy Knockan's City District 2. I'm strongly opposed to this resolution as it's currently worded. I understand the need to rein in the length of these meetings. I've been here for a lot of them and conveniently been able to call in from home for some of them more recently. But I don't think this is the way to do it. So ironically, I'm going to try to be brief here, maybe only 3 minutes. Being here somewhat regularly, we all know that the turnout we've seen in the last few months is not the norm here. But it's not because people are coming here for fun. People have been here because they care. People are hurting, and people are upset with the way their local government is running. The answer to that should not be to hear from them less, but instead more. The beauty of local government is that you guys get to be so close to the people you represent, something that's not true on any other level of government for sure. Limiting meetings to 3 minutes is already significant, but I think, or speeches to 3 minutes is already significant, but I think I can understand where you're coming from with that. It's the least of the problems with this ordinance, though. Meetings beginning at 4:30 make it virtually impossible for people working 8 to 5 to make it in time. I know I ran in here with a blue card pre-filled out straight to Miss Veronica's desk because I thought I was already late. Liz, I'm sure you feel my pain on that this evening. The problem I have the most are the restrictions on the length, especially with any possibility of extension being controlled by a council vote. Moving public comments to the end after creating this time cap essentially gives the council's carte blanche on killing public discussions on nights where there's some hotly debated topics. I've hung out here for some late nights, and as I said earlier, have got to enjoy calling in a few times more recently. But local government primarily meets twice a month here in Lafayette. Your constituents expect you to be here. We expect you to address every issue that is pending, and we expect you to hear from us. I know you guys all do a lot more work than 2 nights. I don't think that's true at all. But this is when we get to be here. This is when we get to see government happen, and this is when we get to affect it. Like I said, I do understand your need to control the length of these meetings, but I think maybe you should look at taking some of these measures and not all of them. I think this is too far and too draconian and is going to end up exacerbating some of the distrust and upset in the community already. So maybe we can find a middle ground. Thank you, guys. Good night.
No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we're on. So there was no other speakers? Okay, call for a vote from each council on the resolution.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3.
Yes.
Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved.
Okay, ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing. Speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 5-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read item number 14.
Joint Ordinance 83, 2020. A joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating and capital budgets of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by recognizing revenues in the amount of $520,000 received from the Federal Highway Administration, approving the use of existing funds in the amount of $130,000 for the required local match, appropriating within the Traffic, Roads, and Bridges Department Traffic Engineering Division for the Lafayette MPO Non-State Pavement Marking Project H007233.
Motion and second from the city council. Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane. Second by Ms. Lynette Cook.
Need a motion and a second from the parish council. Motion by Councilman Carlson. Second by Councilman Gilbo.
Any council discussion on the ordinance? See, there's none. Ms. Williams, any public comments?
No, sir.
Call for a vote from each council on the ordinance.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1? Parish 2?
Yes.
Parish 3? Parish 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved.
Ordinance number 15, read please, Chairman.
Joint Ordinance 84, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a portion of a utility servitude on Lot 37A1 of Avalon subdivision located at 103 Grandmere Lane.
Motion and second from the City Council. Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane. Second by Ms. Nanette Cook.
Motion is second from the Parish Council. Councilman Tabor with the motion, second by Councilman Carlson.
Council discussion on the ordinance. None. Ms. Williams, public comments.
No, sir.
Need a vote from each council on the ordinance.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
Parish 1, Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3, Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Joint Ordinance 86, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council recognizing and ratifying the emergency appropriations authorized by Emergency Ordinance JO 85, 2020, amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the transfer of $100,000 in Community Development Block Grant COVID funds and $300,000 in Home Investment Partnerships funds within the Community Development Department to Catholic Charities of Acadiana for the implementation of a tenant-based rental assistance program and utilities assistance program.
Motion by Ms. Liz Hebert, second by Mr. Andy Nakane.
Need a motion by the Parish Council? So moved. Got a motion by Councilman Gilbo, second by Councilman Carlson.
Any council discussion? I see there's none. Vote from each council on the ordinance.
City 2?
Yes.
City 3?
Yes.
City 4?
Yes.
City 1?
Yes.
Parish 2?
Yes.
Parish 3?
Going for the day.
Parish 3? Yes. Parish 4?
Yes.
Parish 5? Yes. Parish 1? Yes. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved.
Appointments by council members, mayor, president, and/or any other direct appointment authority. Jeremy, please read item number 17.
Mayor President Guillory appoints Jenny Moreau to the People Safety Initiative for an indefinite term effective September 10th, 2020.
Okay. All righty, let's move along. Introductory ordinance. I need a motion and a second to introduce and go over items 18 through 26 from the City Council. Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Liz Hebert.
Need a motion and a second from the Parish Council to consider items 18 through 26. Got a motion by Councilman A.B. Rubin, second by Councilman Tabor.
Jeremy, please read the ordinance from 18 through 26 in global.
Joint Ordinance 87, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to provide for adjustments of revenue and appropriation estimates. Joint Ordinance 88, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at public internet auction surplus miscellaneous movable property which are no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list internet auction. Joint Ordinance 89, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a Fifth Amendment to contract for collection and disposal of residential solid waste, including residential yard waste and white goods within the city limits of Lafayette and the rural areas of the Parish of Lafayette for the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government. Joint Ordinance 90, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating and capital budgets of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $29,700 from various accounts to Survey Equipment RPL account within the Public Works Department Capital Improvements Division for additional funding needed. Joint Ordinance 91, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $13,851,870.72 in coronavirus relief funds received from the U.S. Treasury through the State of Louisiana Office of Community Development as authorized by the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act and appropriating within various departments. Joint Ordinance 92, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the filing of an application to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for a Regional Assistance to Firefighters grant for the Lafayette Fire Department. Joint Ordinance 94, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the filing of applications for grant funding which may become available as a result of the presidential disaster declaration following Hurricane Laura. Joint Ordinance 95, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a certain portion of right-of-way on West Grant Street adjacent to Block 18, Macomb Addition, and the granting of utility and access easements on the property of Lafayette Public Trust Financing Authority and SB Lafayette LLC. Joint Ordinance 96, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and authorizing the administration to implement a 2% general pay increase for all full-time classified and unclassified employees as well as eligible employees and officials.
Any comment from the public concerned above introductory ordinance?
We do have two speakers signed in, Keith Falk, and then he will be followed by Jonathan Prejean. They both want to speak to the 2% general pay increase as it relates to the police department.
My name is Keith Falk. Good evening. How y'all doing? I'm a concerned community activist. And I'd like to say, as the minutes go by, as the seconds go by, as the weeks, as the days, dire services and programs are cut from the budget. And as the days go by, you see those programs are dire. You see those services are dire. But yet, we're going to introduce a 2% pay raise. So they must have a budget to operate those programs if we can give pay raises. Why go giving out pay raises when programs are being cut that are dire to the community? You can sugarcoat it, you can make it look as good as you want. But the evidence shows those programs are needed. Those services are needed. Shows it. So instead of giving out pay raises, let's try getting these programs and services back. Let's try putting that back in the budget. The pay raises ain't gonna be no good. The pay raises ain't gonna be no good if you ain't got people to work for. If citizens continue to lose their life at dire actions being taken. And yes, I'm going to say it, because I can say it. I'm a DJ. I do park parties. And 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, those park rangers was out there. Hey, man, it's time to shut it down. It's late. It's too late. Time to shut it down. So the evidence is there. And yet, the government still focused on the 2% pay raise. Is that more important than getting those services back? So the budget must be well funded if we can give out pay raises. So there wasn't a need to cut those services. We don't need no pay raises. We don't need no pay raises. It could have been me sitting in one of those positions that's getting a raise. And I would have said the same thing. We don't need no pay raises. What we need to do is get these dire programs back and these services. Instead of handing out pay raises. Thank y'all.
Final speaker, Jonathan Prejean.
How y'all doing? I'm here again today.
Say your name, please.
My name is Jonathan Prejean. I'm here today in reference to the pay raise. I'm okay with, I understand economy and everything is going up, and these guys, they work hard. But I don't see no change. I don't see no change with the police department. I don't see no change at all. Why are we giving them raises? What happened in the park, I don't know who's the park director now, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm 59, and all my days in the parks, from Truman, St. Anthony, Paul Davis, J. Wallace James, Hyman Park, I always had park rangers come through, and if it was a problem, they was there. I actually believe, I'm going to point the finger. If the park rangers was there after the game, it wouldn't have been no shooting. It wouldn't have been no parties. The park was always closed at 10 o'clock. I don't know about that moonlight and stuff you know about AB. I never heard nothing about that. But if you want to see the moon, step outside your door. I pay taxes. I'm a disabled vet. We need our park rangers. We need some of these guys to clean up these parks. I live by St. Anthony Park. It is a mess. They sleep in the park. Park rangers wasn't going to allow that. Okay? Man, policemen getting a raise? Did y'all ride down Willow? Did y'all see all the tents in the open area between the highways? Man, come on, man. People come to Lafayette. They swear, God, this is what we do. We take all transits. That shouldn't be acceptable. These policemen want to get a raise. I'm not asking them to go shoot nobody, but have the transits go to a shelter. Something, I'm a victim of police brutality, and I'm still yet. May 2nd, 2020, it made 36 months. My scrotum was squeezed by a police officer. So I don't care nothing about them getting a raise now, but don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. There are good police officers in the Lafayette PD and the sheriff department. They are good police officers, but you have some bad ones. So why give the bad ones raises, You have to kind of like start evaluating what you got. And whatever happened to reprimanding police officers when they do something wrong? Lafayette is giving them raises and they're promoting them. Man, that's messed up. Like I said, I'm a vet. I never signed up for this to happen. I never signed up to be able to speak for just 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I'm new to all this here. I'm not a politician. I'm not an activist neither. I'm a disabled vet, and my scrotum is worth more than $1,500, Mr. Mayor. My scrotum, and I would like my CD back, Mr. Mayor. Attorney, I would like my disc back. I can't get you on the phone. I really and truly, I'm disappointed with this city, the way it's being operated, man. We could do better than that. I'm 59. I know all of y'all about my age. Y'all can't hide y'all that. Y'all was raised better than that. Whatever happened to morals and dignity? Somewhere y'all got to step in with some kind of morals. Some kind of dignity. I still have pride in myself, and I'm going to hold my head up pretty high. I know what I'm going through. It doesn't affect none of y'all. and y'all don't really care. Because if y'all cared, something would have been done. I shouldn't have to come over here. I shouldn't have to leave my kids and grandkids to come over here and talk about what's going on with the city when y'all really know what's going on. I don't have no problem with these people getting a raise. I have a problem with the changes we're making. We're going, man, I don't know where we're going with this. This is not America. This is not what I signed for. This is not what I signed in the military for. I didn't ask no police officer to squeeze my scrotum. I was not arrested. I was not committing a crime. I didn't do nothing wrong. My scrotum is worth more than $1,500.
No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mayor, question. Raises concerning emergency responders like police officers and firefighters. Are they included in this? Hold on a second, please. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the firefighters that received the state mandated 2% would not be included. The firefighters that did not receive the 2% state mandated pay increase would be included. Our police department would also be included. All Lafayette Consolidated Government employees, not officials, and not including the 4 individuals that were affected by the adjusted pay voted on in the budget process that was brought before the councils last 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yes, it would, and it's well-deserved.
So I'm hearing raises, but from my understanding, this is what we had voted on last year.
Correct.
According to tax, sales tax. So in other words, just to reinstate, it's not an additional 2% raise. Just if I'm understanding correctly, please clear
That's
that
a
air.
good and we have our CFO behind me as well, but that's a good clarifying point, Mr. Chair. And also, this discussion was brought up a few months ago, and we weren't in a financial position to do it.
Right.
And there was an ordinance brought before the councils that would suspend that 2%, I won't say automatic, but it was automatic by law. And that suspension was on my request because of the fiscal situation we're in. I made a commitment to both councils that when we were in a financial situation to reinstate or lift the suspension,
Correct.
that I would support that, and I honor my word.
I understand, right. I just want to make sure that it's not something that this month we just decide to
Right.
give employees a raise. This is something that was voted on last year, and you explained it just a few minutes ago, that we just want to reinstate the 2% back again.
Yes, sir.
Just reinstate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Hebert.
I wanted to remind Veronica and then also legal and administration that at the last council meeting where we had this discussion, I requested a breakdown of exactly who qualifies, who doesn't qualify, and we still haven't received that. So I was just following up on that. If we can get that sent to the council members before the next council meeting. Thank you.
Mr. Andy Nakane?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this 2% also does not affect the starting pay salary for police officers, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any more council discussion? I see there's none. I need a vote from each council to introduce, well, we did in global. I need that to introduce in global.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 4,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2.
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo by the City Council is approved. Motion to introduce in globo by the Parish Council is approved.
I adjourn the parish council meeting.
I adjourn the joint meeting and the city council meeting.